Please do our invocation. Thank you.
Psalm 29. Ascribe to the Lord, O heavenly beings. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in the splendor of holiness. The Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord sits enthroned as king forever. May the Lord give strength to his people. May the Lord bless his people with peace. So, Heavenly Father, we come before you humbly, knowing that we are ever in need of your mercy and your help. These are ever-changing times. There's weighty responsibility that is upon our Board of Supervisors as they navigate complex issues and make very important decisions. And so we lift them up in prayer before you, before your throne of grace. We're praying for wisdom, for discernment for each of them, for strength and resilience when things get heavy and burdensome in their role. We're praying for unity and collaboration between them as they discuss things and as they interpret things and as they try to make the wisest decisions and bring their collective understanding together. We pray that they would continue to have compassion and empathy for the people that they serve in this county. We pray, of course, for their protection and their safety. We pray for humility for each of them, for integrity. We pray for their health and their well-being. We pray that they would be able to process and understand, and that the results of their conversations would bring fair and just decisions. We do pray that this would continue to be peaceful leadership and peaceful response by the people who they serve, and that you would give guidance during this meeting as in the days to come. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Michaela, can we have a roll call, please?
Supervisor Hall?
Here.
Supervisor Staples?
Here.
Supervisor Fitch?
Here. All right, we're all here. Review the agenda. Any disclosure of conflict of interest or any changes to the agenda? I believe, Michaela, you notified us of a couple things on the consent agenda, or one thing on the consent agenda.
Yeah, I just had the one on the receipt and file from public health. There was,
It should say fiscal year 26 instead of 25. Okay, so we'll note that correction. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve, unless there's any conflict of interest. I don't think I heard anybody.
No, there's no.
Okay, so we'll move on to the consent agenda with that amended correction to the Public Health Board notice of wage changes. Instead of fiscal year 25, it's going to be fiscal year 26. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Well, so moved.
Did you have something else to do?
Well, I just, the request for funding community and family resources probably should have gone to the task force first, and then they would have responded to that instead of just received and filed, because they would have given them.
That was forwarded to you?
Well, I didn't get it until I saw it on the receive and file.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't do any action on receive and file, we just receive it.
Yeah,
So-
I know, but it probably should have been forwarded to the task force so they could send a letter and review their request. That's all. So,
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
we can still receive and file it, I guess. Do you have any opposition to that?
No, it should
Yeah,
just go, it should have probably not been received and filed. It probably should have gone to
Just
the
gone
task, yeah.
and
And then they
forwarded
would
on.
have addressed it. They would have said,
Oh, instead of
interviewed.
coming to the super.
Yeah, they would have
Okay.
interviewed them.
Oh, that's fine
and-
with me.
Yeah,
Is that what you want going forward?
yeah, I think, well, we'll talk about that later.
We can do that. Okay. All right, any other changes?
No, just that we probably should do that. And,
Would you feel more comfortable just striking that?
no, you've already received and filed it. It's there. We can address it to the
Okay.
task force.
Okay. All right. Motion to approve? Anybody?
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now into the department head reports. Mike, you are up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Hackett. I'm the Madison County Secondary Roads Engineer. Today for the board, I bring you some resolutions. I'm going to skip to some of the resolutions that are on the backside of, I'm going to address right off the bat resolution secondary roads B, C, D, E, and F. Those are all temporary road closures for construction, maintenance construction work on the secondary road system. Those are pretty standard. All but one has been completed by now. The one on 282nd is still under construction, and I hope to get that wrapped up, weather pending, in next week. Otherwise, the rest of them have been completed. The other thing I want to bring to your attention today is we had another bridge letting. This was a letting June 17th. 25 and it Ames. It's on Rustic Avenue. It's a reinforced concrete slab bridge, 75 feet long, 24 and a half feet wide. There were 3 bidders on that project. The low bid on the resolution today goes to Jasper Construction Services Incorporated of Newton, Iowa. And their low bid was $597,600.62.
Do you have to take the low bid?
Yes, we do.
Even if, is the only way you can deny it is if you can find some egregious deception?
I'll address that after I read the other things, and I appreciate that. The high bid, I read the high bid, $667,021. The engineer's estimate was $615,971. Well within the range of that. This is a federal aid funded job, which I've talked about during the 5-year program. So those dollars come from federal aid, they're HPP dollars. So this bridge on this location qualifies for those. And during that process, in fact, all bridge processes that we do and all highway work, we let through the Iowa Department of Transportation. The Iowa Department of Transportation, especially the federal jobs, require it to go through their process and through their review. If you wish to build a bridge or be a contractor for this type of project, then there's pre-qualifications. And the Iowa Department of Transportation, the state of Iowa, does that for basically all the municipalities that want to let through there. So did that amp that?
Yeah.
Okay. When that happens, they're pre-qualified. They've got the means, the equipment, and the experience to get onto that list. And we're either a subcontractor of a bigger contractor to learn the processes to do that, and then have the funding capacity to be able to do these types of projects. So when that happens, you do accept the low bid. The only time that there would be maybe a second bid on that is if during the letting processes, the legal aspects for the bidding contract wasn't, something went wrong there. Been doing this a long time. That doesn't happen.
Can they get to the end and then come to you and say they need more money, or are they just stuck with what they did?
Okay, so our plans that we let all have bid items. Don't have the bid items for this typical project, but usually, yes, all the components of the project are let. So let's say, for example, a bridge. This is a concrete bridge. It's made out of concrete, so concrete's a bid item. The steel in the bridge is a bid item. Piling, the seating, the rocks, all those items are listed, and the contractors, when they bid this, they have to give an individual price, schedule of prices for each item. That they're locked into that, unless we have strange things happen. Gulf War conflict. I can remember we had fuel adjustments and steel adjustment prices because the markets changed. That's also all covered in the specifications that we use through the Iowa DOT. They're covered that type of stuff. But generally speaking, the price that it is what they get paid for that. Now, there are occasionally some extra work orders, some unknown. Things like, let's say it's on the grading project and there are boulders or rocks that are unaccounted for, then there might be a discussion that that was extra work that wasn't in the contract. And then that's one of the things we do in our office down there is reevaluate those situations, negotiate extra work order based on prices that are kind of already set for that time.
So if you hit something unforeseen,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's pretty much what it is, that price is. Now, there might be some items that don't get used. Some of those, they're based on estimated quantities. A lot of times, weather, we work in an outdoor factory. When you go to seed, it might not grow right away, so then we got to reseed it or things like that. There's some minor things. Otherwise, that's all I have for you. Any other questions? All right, thank you. I'll let the next person.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike. Brady, you are up next.
My name is Brady Foreman, Madison County EMS Director. We've also got a few things on the agenda, but I'll let you guys get to those when you get there. I missed last month, so we're going to kind of cover 2 months in 1 minute. So for last month and this month, those 2 months we had 194 calls. We're 20 calls ahead of last year, so just coming into summer real good. So I'm sure we'll be up a little bit. So at the ambulance garage on May 8th, we had a CPR class. We had on 5/15, we had an emergency preparedness exercise. It was emergency countermeasures, biological attack. That was kind of a mandatory thing the state made us do with public health, emergency management, us. We kind of sat down and went through scenarios on what we do if biological, they gave us scenarios, we kind of talked through, found things that we missed. It was very, very good exercise. The 17th, we had some pool training for the lifeguards, went through some things on how what to expect on if they have a call at the pool, what we're going to expect when we show up. If we show up to the pool, where we're going to stage, what we're going to do when we go, and what we kind of expect from them, how we want them to let us know what's going on, because it's going to be a very high stress situation. Had a centralized emergency medical directors meeting. Had another hazmat meeting set up by emergency management, which was very good. Kind of went over some more of the chemical stuff, what you do when you go in. Mainly don't go in. We always say, we let the brown canaries go in first.
Yeah.
If they're on the ground, we don't go in.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Have that scene. Let the brown canaries go in. If they're laying on the ground, we're not going in. We had another CPR class on the 23rd. We're going to start trying to get a couple of those scheduled. We're trying to work out a schedule, try to get 2 of those maybe scheduled a month, where they'll be open then if somebody wants to come instead of, we've kind of had people start asking for that if they could have a certain dates. So we're working on that.
Can you include the staff, Brady?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I've done a few offices. So that's what I'm trying to get set up. Maybe like a couple Thursdays or a couple Tuesdays. I'm trying to figure out what's going to work best when my staff's going to be, and of course stuff like that. But we had the insurance meeting, of course, on the 7th. We had Touch a Truck on June 7th. Touch a Truck. We took an ambulance up. A bunch of kids got to come go through it, ask all kinds of questions, which was really good for the public. Did 2 CPR classes on the 16th, and then the 26th we had the Iowa GEMT kickoff meeting, which is that's the money that we get from the offset for Medicaid. Every Medicaid patient we transport, we usually get $100 and some for that. This is the offset that uppays us, which I'll be July and August is when our collection time is. So I'll be getting with the auditor's office. I've already told them about that fun time. to start collecting some data on that. And then September, October is when we send it to the state. They'll see what they like about it, what they don't like about it, send it back to us. We'll go back to the auditor, get some more numbers filled in, and send it back to them. Then it has to be in by November 30th and filed with the state. So that's all I got. Any questions?
I want to commend you. My husband and I just came from out west, and this state is considered one of the #1 states in emergency preparedness and recovery. And I know a lot of states come here to train, but we really do a good job, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lady. All right. Next up is Ryan. Oh, wait, sorry. Public comment. My apologies. We're now at time of public comment. If you wish to make a public comment, come ahead and speak at the microphone, state your name and your town, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon, Vicky Brenner, Winterset. Isn't it remarkable how the Madison County Board of Supervisors can scrutinize every penny when it comes to long-serving employees, questioning raises for employees with years of dedicated service while simultaneously rubber stamping generous pay bumps for new hires who haven't even survived 6 months on the job. The message is unmistakable. Loyalty and experience are valued less than a well-timed appointment or the right connections. This selective budget discipline seems to be the board's latest fiscal innovation, one where so-called budget constraints are applied to some, while slush funds are conveniently reserved for others. The troubling pattern of favoritism was on full display on the June 10th Board of Supervisor meeting, where urgent concerns have now been raised about the county's delayed and problematic handling of the opioid settlement funds. Despite a thorough presentation by the Madison County Task Force comprised of healthcare, law enforcement, and education professionals, the process has been stalled due to new arbitrary demands from Supervisors Stansel and Hobbs. Their insistence on a detailed contract specifying program curricula and goals, a requirement found nowhere in the 400-page settlement agreement or in state and federal guidelines, and not imposed by other counties, has delayed the launch of critical opioid remediation programs. The move, perceived as the supervisor's lack of trust in the task force expertise, directly contradicts the intended purpose of these settlement funds. When vital program funds are stalled or diverted by personal agenda or neglect, it is not just a breach of trust, it's misappropriation, and it's against the law. If the board is truly interested in avoiding accusations of favoritism or worse, legal action for discriminatory pay practices and mismanagement of public funds, they must apply their standards consistently and transparently. Otherwise, the only thing being raised in this office is suspicion, and the public deserves better.
Anyone else?
Chris Jordan, East Peru, and I don't remember if there's anything else I was supposed to say. You want my address?
Just your city.
Okay. Several years ago when I was mayor, well actually just a couple, I was here at the board meeting and talked with various supervisors. When we discussed improving communication in East Peru, and Omnitel is there now. They're laying cable east and west of town and in town. And I've been talking to Omnitel, and I applied for $19,000 plus in Patriot funds at that time. And I know I'm not currently the mayor, but I'm wondering if there's something that could possibly be done to change something that's happened. My street and 2 or 3 others in Peru have been declared at this point ineligible for fiber optics. They've chosen to do Emerson, which is also Peru Road, Brown, and a little bit of Odell and McClelland Way. Those people already have better service than most of us because being on Florence Avenue, I'm in the bottom of the valley. They're not coming down our street. Their funding isn't adequate enough. The Peru City Council has, and I intend to go to their next meeting, decided to use the 19,000 plus in Patriot funds rather than for fiber optic, a children's playground. Phil Clifton, when he was chair of this board, pointed out to me and said, and Mayor, the children during COVID in your town were the least able to be educated in this county because they had the poorest fiber optic service. And I'm wondering if there's some way, they believe that the use of the funds had been expanded and they're able to do a playground. We don't have a lot of children in East Peru, but I know kids need to play. But I think maybe the fiber optic right now is more important to more people. And I don't know if there's some way the Board of Supervisors could help influence the situation. They've sent in an application for this playground. I don't think it's been approved yet. They think they can use it for that because when it wasn't used for fiber optic, because it hadn't come yet initially, the uses were expanded. And I don't know, I would love to see it if there were some way to put pressure on to turn that money back to its original use for it to be used to improve communication in our city.
I did check on that, Chris, and we don't have jurisdiction. The money was awarded, but not through the county. I know a county employee did help write the grant. It had nothing to do with it,
That's right.
just help.
Yeah.
Just because it was a nice thing to do. But we don't have jurisdiction on to tell your city council, do we agree with it? Maybe not, but we don't have the jurisdiction.
Is there any way to say to the state of Iowa to find out? I don't even know who you appeal to, but to me, that application should be denied on the basis of that there's a better way to use that money. Of course, it's just me speaking, my point of view, but when you know that one of the people involved on the city council has an in-home daycare and wants the playground for those children to use, that kind of cranks you off a little bit.
Do you know who awarded the Patriot funds, what department in the state awarded it?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Shelley helped me do it. And I didn't, my name was originally included, but then our city clerk, who's no longer the city clerk either, she followed through on all that. So I don't know. I could talk to Emily maybe and ask. She doesn't live that far away, but
So you have to go back to the state if they're not using it properly. Again, we can't really get
well, I
involved.
don't know
but you
if
have to
it's
go back to the
improper. I just don't think it's the best use of it.
And they maybe were granted permission to find out. They might have been granted permission to.
Emily told me they expanded the things that could be used for when it wasn't originally used, but we didn't originally use it because the town had been met for fiber optic. We thought it was coming, but it took 4 or 5 years to happen. That's why the money sat there. They had to have the application in by the end of this year for how they're going to spend it. And that's why they filed it for the way they did it. Well, maybe we'll try for public uprising.
All right, anyone else like to speak?
I'm not going to begin the engineer side, it's taking so long. Steve Swanson, Winterset. I was on the, or I guess I currently may be the only member still on the opioid task force board. A lot of work was put into that proposal by a lot of different people. The other proposals we've received up to that point and since have been either people trying to make money or illegal. So we didn't go with those. We got a good proposal that would have helped many children in the community. And I've explained this all before in private, but I think maybe you'll listen if I say it in public. So we mentioned, we got all 3 school districts, Turning Point, Wildwood, and Drake University, to work with counseling the students in the school and helping kids that are drug affected, which we deal with every day in my office with all the Chinas and stuff like that, where parents are drug addicts and the kids suffer from that, and it's a cyclical thing. And if they don't get treatment at some point, they're going to be drug addicts. So we have a good plan worked out, and the attitude of the board towards the people from Turning Point, Wildwood, etc., made them all pull their grant application. Now, I've been getting emails or texts from the rest of the board saying they're all quitting. So there is, as far as I know, no more opioid task force board due to what happened at the last meeting. That's pretty much all I have to say, but I just wanted to say it so you can understand that this is upsetting people. A lot of people put a lot of work into this. A lot of people put aside issues that they have with each other to work together to try to help the community. And when it was brought to the board, it was, I mean, I've heard a million things brought before the board. We're going to spend this money on this, we're going to spend this money on that. That's county money, that's taxpayer money. This is Walgreens money and Walmart's money. This isn't even taxpayer money that we're trying to spend, and this got treated far more harshly than any other proposal that's come before the board for anything else. So I guess that's all my comment is. I'm sure I'm under 3 minutes.
Okay. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
It's not the first.
I don't, at our last meeting, we said, get a contract with the accurate numbers, and as far as I know, all of us were in support of this. What happened?
Absolutely, I just listened to that meeting again last night
That
to
is not
clarify.
the impression that was taken from the people from Turning Point or Wildwood or the school districts.
Okay, maybe they should listen to the meeting again, because last we left it is we were in support of it.
They've
We
pulled
just
their
need
grant
a contract
application
that-
because they got advice to pull their grant application so they don't get audited and everything get put under a microscope. And if this doesn't go to exactly opioids, then they're going to get money clawed back. They're like, we can't deal with this. It's too much of a headache, and we're pulling the grant. So there's no currently anybody that, well, there's people applying for the grants, but no one that's
Because I haven't seen a contract. Have you seen I haven't seen a contract
They-
or an MOU or
they
anything.
decided not to. They decided to pull their.
They don't need a contract, they just need an MOU, but I haven't seen an MOU. I
They
haven't seen.
decided to
They
pull
pulled
their.
it because they couldn't, they felt that this is so, it's so difficult to get children to come forward if they suffer abuse, and they can't be under this constant public scrutiny that the money
No one
will
was
be.
putting children in public
That
school.
it felt that way to all of them. All of our board
Yes, it
members, all of the board members think if they're going to be questioned, you don't realize how hard it was to get all 3 schools together. We did, and then we got Wildwood, then we got Drake on board.
There's
Turning
about-
Point already put like $100,000, they said, of their own, and so this was a really good deal, and they felt like they were kind of publicly scrutinized.
We just wanted a contract or an MOU,
The
something
Exhibit A
that
doesn't really call for that. We don't, other
we're
counties.
gonna write a check for $100,000.
It's not our money, it's opioid money, and it
Yes.
goes
We
to
still
them.
have to be accountable for it.
I'm accountable for it.
He is
so-
accountable.
And I
He's- it
said it was
goes through
okay.
him.
Then why wasn't there any further discussion with the board? The way we left this board meeting, I listened to it again to make sure that I heard it correctly. The way that it was left, there was someone from the schools that said, hey, we might have a sample MOU. Supervisor Stansel said, hey, we have a sample draft of an ARPA contract we could likely use,
Which I sent.
per
Which
Isaac.
is completely different.
Okay, but no, there was a mention of an MOU. Why wasn't an MOU presented then instead?
just approve
Because they withdrew the.
The financials weren't even accurate on the documentation. It was admitted in that meeting that it wasn't even current. The amount requested wasn't even accurate.
The amount requested was to start them with training, and then there was gonna be more money given to them later.
Yes.
It was gonna be in steps.
Yes, because they
That's
can
why-
request.
We'd like to have that outline though. We can't
They-
just willy-nilly give money.
And it's
away.
not your money, it's
It's the county's
settled.
responsibility.
It doesn't go back, it's not like it goes back to the general fund if it doesn't get spent. It, like,
Then why did it come to the board?
at this point, I just think we just give it to
Because
Warren
they were
County or
ready to
someone
go
else. We don't have to
forward.
deal with it. 'cause I'm
If
tired of
it's
going
not in our
forward.
purview, then why did it even come to us?
You have to vote.
Why
on
didn't you
it.
just give the money?
Because we can't just give the money.
It has to end at the Board of
You're supposed to take
Supervisors.
the advice of the opioid task force, which wasn't taken at all, and everyone on the task force felt like their time was wasted.
Yes.
That's the reason why we're at.
Everyone here said they were in support of it. all of us said we were in support.
Your actions
We
and
just
words
want, excuse
You guys are.
me, the public comment is over. If you continue to interrupt, we'll be asking you to leave.
Go for it.
Okay?
Thank
No,
you.
don't.
So the way we left it as a board is all three of us were in support of it. We just wanted clearer documentation. We wanted some kind of contract that outlined everything rather than just an application, so we can provide accountability for these funds. This was recommended by several people, and we had people in the audience that said, yeah, we can do that. They were gonna work with you on the contract, they were gonna try to get sample
In the
MOUs.
meantime, based off of what they heard at the meeting, they spoke to their representation, and their representation advised them not to proceed due to the scrutiny that this was all under. It was gonna be too much reports and all that stuff, that they have to have reports, but the amount of things that you were asking for were outside of what the normal guidelines are. And that's.
I just passed along the bullet points for a standard boilerplate contract to them. I didn't know what they were gonna take or not. We haven't seen any, no one's talked to me about this. The way I left it is, this is what we were waiting on. I heard from you saying you haven't had a chance to do it yet, which I understand, doing a contract like that takes time and you're a busy guy. So,
Well, I was working on it, and then I
They
got the
all
phone
pulled
call
out.
to pull out.
so I don't know, the last I heard is when I sent Mr. Jolly a list of things that were bullet points, because he asked for stuff that would be on a contract. So I sent that to him. That's the last I heard of it. As far as I know, they were working on it because all of us were in support of it. So this is all news to me, Steve.
It's not what they took from the conversation.
Well, I apologize that misunderstanding, but this
So they-
board was in support of it. We just
They
wanted
are-
documentation.
As far as I know, they're out, and we tried to get them back, but they're not coming back, so. So that's where we're at now with the opioids.
Enough with the comments from the peanut gallery, thank you.
Little defensive.
A lot defensive.
Vicki, you continue to interrupt our meeting. I'm going to respectfully ask you to stop.
That would be great. I wish we
Or
could stop.
you will need
lies.
to leave, or you will need to leave.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be civil.
Okay,
all of us.
so, anyone else to speak? All right, moving on to,
Ryan's
Ryan.
not here.
Is he not here?
No.
Oh, anyone on the phone that wishes to comment? Anyone? Can you hear me? Can someone say yes?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. Okay, if there's no one who wishes to do public comment, Ryan was up, but I don't see him.
Ryan's here. Oh, wait, no.
Ryan Marquardt.
Okay, he's not.
He's not there. All right, we'll go ahead and move into the resolution. Okay, first resolution, approving wage changes for auditor's office effective July 1. There's a lot of resolutions on this agenda because it's end of year. This is for fiscal year 26, beginning July 1st. So bear with us on this, folks. So the first one is the auditor's office. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please vote nay.
Nay.
Nay. Motion carries. Okay, second one is wage changes for the county attorney's office effective fiscal year 26, beginning July 1, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, who wants to be the second?
I'll be second.
Who is second? Okay, Diane is the second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next one is the contract with Johnson Controls to relocate security footage at 1625. I know you were working on this. Did you have an answer? I had a question. I sent it to Steve regarding the,
Yeah, they're not gonna be making any new penetrations, and it doesn't have to be in this fiscal year.
And the one wall they have to drill through is not an original wall, it's like a partition hollow
Okay.
wall. Like it's just a to make it into offices, there's a partition wall.
okay, so they're not penetrating the masonry then?
Not into the exterior of the external wall. It's an internal
It's
wall.
an
that's-
internal wall.
It's hollow.
Okay.
That's been
And it's
added.
a relocation of just the server for the camera system at the courthouse. And so we did have a JCI adjust the terms because in their terms, they excluded moving the server, but that's what this project is for. So they kind of clarified those terms, but I think the intention was just to get it moved upstairs to the county attorney offices and so it's kind of under their purview.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be done immediately. That room is secured. I understand the lock was changed on that, not yet? Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to check because it's a historical building. I didn't want to. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Well, and I can send you that in writing too, but I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay. All right.
So I'll move to approve.
You move to approve. Diane, you want to second that?
Yeah.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
I'm gonna vote nay only because I'm not sure it's necessary. I think the courthouse security should probably be under the sheriff's department and it should be where it's easy for them, so I vote nay.
Well, as a matter of fact, the sheriff's department was asking for it to be moved from what Steve said to make it more
Back to the
convenient.
clerk court.
Yeah.
You wanted up
And the
there?
only reason that is because there's an officer there most of the time. So if you have gunshots on the first floor, they can immediately go to that camera. And instead of entering that fatal funnel, which is the stairway, they have that camera system to rely back on. That's kind of why it was on the second floor to begin with.
So you are in support of this?
Oh,
They
I'm
wanted
going
it
to
on the second,
floor.
not the third,
Okay,
not
so
the
The
third.
second,
We
okay.
talked to the district court, they don't have room for it.
So it's the
That's why it
second.
was the third.
So I rescind my vote and I'll say aye,
Okay, so it's unanimous.
yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, moving on to, did you get that, Michaela? Okay. Moving on, approving hire of Amy as part-time paramedic at $18 per hour effective June 20th. This is, I guess is he a new hire?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
draft I forgot to hit.
Yeah, it's
Send
okay.
it to the last meeting. So yes, and so, and the next two down are also new hires. The reason he's 18 and not 20 is because they're not starting until July 1st. At July 1st, we've already got the resolutions to bring all the paramedics up to 20. So that's why
So
that's
we're,
different.
and he's on, and Niece is on there.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Thanks
Or
for
was on
clarifying
there.
that, yeah.
Okay, thank
So-
you. Thank
Because
you.
I wondered that, why is it different?
Okay, okay. So approving hire of Amy's part-time paramedic at $18 an hour effective June 20th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approving hire of M. Kaler at part-time paramedic at $20 per hour effective 1 July 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Can we lump in all the different categories with the EMS maybe?
Just one under you could, but not the others.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that's anniversary separates.
Yeah.
You could
Okay.
put J. Pratt under there.
Do you want to put approving hire of M. Kaler and J. Pratt together?
Yes, I will move to do both of them.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, any discussion on that? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll go ahead and approve the next bullet, J, G, and H together. You guys are okay with that, since they're both EMS?
Yes.
Wage increase for J. Primer, I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong. How do you-
Firmer.
Primer, thank you. And J. Evans, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, next one is approving wage adjustments for Sheriff's Office. There's a couple questions on this. Clayton, you're supposed to get 85%, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You are currently being underpaid.
That'd be nice to hear.
Not by a lot, but probably could get your wife a nice steak dinner or two. But we can't correct that because this comes from the sheriff's office. So he sets your wage. So I'm just giving you an FYI. And it was like that the last 2 years too. So you might want to talk to Lawra and Jason when he gets back and figure out how you want to do that. So we have to approve it because he's presented it that particular way because he sets your wages. We can't just change it.
Okay.
So, but we can
fix that.
we can go back. So I don't know how we would do the previous 2 years, but it was probably just a mistype because last year you were given 84.86%, and the year before you were given 84.85%. So it's about $330. I want to make sure it goes forward correctly though, if you're okay with that. So, so talk to Jason when he gets back and get with Laura.
When?
And then
You
we'll
mean
get
when? Oh, Lord.
Laura, auditor's office, how you do the payroll.
Because Lynn's normally the one that does the,
Right, right, but, well, yeah, a new resolution to fix it, yes,
Okay.
she'll do that, but I'm saying for Laura regarding
Okay.
payroll purposes, that's probably the most important thing for you, I would think. So, so yeah, I just want to let you know that, and I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to call you back.
I was busy on Monday too, so it's okay.
Okay, all right, and
So what do we do for today's purposes then?
we're gonna have to approve the rate as it is, because, I mean, if Jason was here and he could say change it, I'd be okay with that, but since he's not here,
Okay.
I'm not comfortable changing it, but I wanted Clayton to know so we can get it fixed, and then what will probably happen is we'll have a resolution to kind of fix it at our July 8th meeting probably,
Okay.
and backdate it. The other thing on here is something that we were told that for dispatcher Jailer Nicole, it was her anniversary date is March 5th, 26, not 25. So we need to fix that. And then the other thing is the wage for the civil clerk does not comply with the union agreement and the discussion we had with the attorney, so we need to fix that. So we can't fix Deputy Clayton's because Jason's over that. The union agreement is over the clerk though. So rather than 60,506.73, it needs to be 58,887.32. And I don't know what's been going on, but this area has been going on for a few years now. I mean, I would like it to stop and just move forward. So I gave you both the numbers from the last few years, as well as what was budgeted. What was budgeted was the union rate. Actually, it was under budgeted. They didn't budget quite enough to cover the union rate, but that's what was budgeted the last few years. So, and that's what we budgeted this year, is the union contract. So we need to fix that because we need to abide by the union contract. So that would be my recommendation. We can't fix Clayton, but we know it's coming to be fixed. We want to fix Nicole's anniversary date and then fix Lynn's union rate to correct that.
I just looked at the email, it's March 3rd.
Oh, March 3rd? Thank you. Okay, so Jailer Nicole Shore, dispatcher Jailer Nicole is March 3rd. 26. Okay.
So we could make a motion to approve this with the corrections to Clayton's wages.
We can't correct Clayton because we have to get approval from Jason.
We can move forward with the request to make the corrections.
We have to make sure Jason's okay with it. He's the elected official. We can't make it out as a half.
Then let's table it.
Well, for that one, yeah, but we can make the other two requests, two corrections. So if Clayton, if you understand what I'm talking about, okay, I'm
Is
not
there a way
comfortable
we can
making table your change. We're going to approve what it is on the resolution for you
Okay.
right now, with the understanding and hope that the fix will come in a future resolution
Correct.
to make you whole. And I know we can make you whole going forward fiscal year 26. I don't know how we're going to fix the past 2 years. That would be a question with Laura and Jason.
Can we table the civil clerk as well until Jason gets back?
Sure.
Well, but basically, yeah, well, we're freezing her salary anyway, so.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
for that
I
at
know,
all.
I'm saying it would be a freeze anyway regardless of what we do. We can table it.
I would like that tabled until
Okay.
he has a chance to look it over,
Okay,
if that's all right.
that's fine.
That's fine with me.
That's fine. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
But the anniversary date for Nicole, I think we're all in agreement.
Yes.
Yeah,
We need to
fix
get
that.
back
That we could change.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I can move.
So
the
we can
change.
do that, well, we can do that in a future
All right.
resolution.
Let's do them all at the same time.
Okay, all right,
So
okay.
We'll table it then for now and try to find it sooner than later. We're going to need to talk to Sheriff Barnes, correct?
Yes.
I think he gets back
Today,
today.
he gets back today.
And he's aware of all this.
Yes.
Would you like
Yes.
to do the raise approved conditional approval?
Yeah, because there's everybody else's raises on here too. That's
That's what I don't wanna hold it up.
Okay.
That's what I said, we could do it.
We can do his contingent on approval or confirmation.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we can do that. Well, what about the clerk? What do you want to do about the clerk?
Strike it.
Because
table it.
because this
I
was
think we
something.
table that one and the other until we can engage directly with Sheriff Barnes, and
Okay.
I don't know if we need to set up just a special work session where we sit down with them, or we independently talk to them, but.
Well, I think it'd be better if we do a work session to sit down with them.
I
And
agree,
I don't know
because
if
there's,
since it's union, I don't know if we do that in open or closed. We'll have to ask Steve on that.
Yeah, I would agree, that would be my preferred, because all the emails going back and forth isn't resolving it, we need to get it
Okay.
figured out.
So what we can do is table Lynn's, and then make the corrections for Nicole's, and then I'm assuming he's going to approve your correction.
So, but.
I would hope so.
It's $160. It's $160.04 more. Well, and you also get IPERS on top of that.
Yeah.
So every dollar
Taxes
counts.
will take that too, so.
Every dollar counts. So, so if the board is okay with that, his actual rate would be $100,010.04. So 100,010.04. That would be his actual rate going forward into fiscal year '26. And if you guys are okay that we approve that contingent on Sheriff Barnes, okay.
I think that's what I mentioned, but yes.
You want that?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Can you say the number again?
$100,010.04. Okay. So, so we'll go ahead. I will entertain a motion to approve resolution, Sheriff's Office resolution with the new rate for, the corrected rate for Deputy Allen, the corrected anniversary date for Nicole Shore, and the temporary tabling of Clerk Lynn Singer's rates.
I would do that in separate motions, but the first two, I would make a motion to do that contingent. It's okay with Jason. It will be, but.
Well, yes, yes.
And so, yes, I would make that motion, but I think you should table Lynn's as separate, just an opinion.
Well, it's one resolution.
That's
so-
fine, all right, do that.
So what, is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to the next resolution approving setting a public hearing for the Madison County Board of Supervisors meeting on 8th July at 6 p.m. for the solar energy systems zoning ordinance. This is basically just an extension of the moratorium that we currently have on solar with the addition of 12 months or when the new ordinance is passed, whichever is later.
But is this, now with this governor's decision, is this really gonna matter? Because they have the eminent domain.
I don't know, to be honest with you. It's not really up to the governor. That's the carbon pipeline.
I know, but it opens the door, I think.
Well, we have to move forward with what we are right now.
I will move to approve
So-
this.
So we'll go ahead. So you move to approve it?
Yeah, to set the date, yes.
Set the date as July 8th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Michaela, we gotta make sure we get the notice to the Madisonian so they get published next week. Any other discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Approving signing annual lease license code support agreement between Madison County and Solutions, effective July 1 through June 30th. This is the license code support agreement. What this is for all the specialty software that all our offices use, engineers, auditors, treasurer, reporter. That's a separate thing. The one thing that you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but it is a little bit lower than what we anticipated based on what we budgeted for. So, and that's because of some of the stuff is not being used anymore because it's not necessary, I'm assuming, because it's zero now. But instead of the 7% increase we were expecting, it's only 5.1%. So a little bit of good news. So anyway, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
All
Nay.
opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, motion carries. Okay, renewal contracts. John, you're here. I see you. So this is for our ICAP and workman's comp. So there's another thing on the agenda later on to discuss potential add-ons, but this resolution is just for the renewal. We did, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, while we had an increase in workers' comp premium significantly, we did have a decrease in our other liability insurance. So it's, even though we're increasing more than what we expected, it is actually going to be less than what we originally expected. So the workman's comp came as a surprise after we already approved the budget.
Correct.
So, so we would have to do a budget amendment for that. And we originally thought it was going to be a little over 40,000. Now it's only going to be over 24,000 instead, because we've had the reduction on the other side of the house. So that's good. So that's what this is for, is to approve the renewal of the contracts for our insurance and our workman's comp. So I will entertain, do you guys have any questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll just add to that, the safety committee is, we've gotten that rolling again, and I talked with Mitch earlier. He said he actually met with another county, gleaned some information, and we've got some proposed dates that work for he and I. We're going to shoot out to the original group, Kelly and John, to get this rolling and engage others to serve on the safety committee within the county. So there's movement, a lot of good progress, and we're getting it rolling so that hopefully that will help us get this workman's comp number down in the future.
Okay. Well, that'll be great. I'd love to see that. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next one, this is one you've been asking for a while. The rearranging the rules of procedure to change around the presentations and stuff like that. It was just some slight changes. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at that format. Do you like the way it's ordered now?
The agenda?
The rules of, the new changes to the agenda for rules of procedure. We were just moving around where the presentations go.
It's fine.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, the next one is setting salaries for elected officials for fiscal year 26. As you can see, there are no raises for elected officials for next year. That was what was considered during the budget season, budget time rather. So there'll be no, that's why it reflects 0. They'll be basically paid the same as they are now for fiscal year 26. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
My hope is that we can find some greater efficiencies and all work together to find some smarter ways to do business so that everybody gets a raise next year. That would be my hope and what I would like to see.
Well, we're gonna work hard on that this coming year.
Yep.
And my opinion is when you balance budgets and treat workers with disrespect, I think you might get work that probably might not be satisfactory. It's hard to feel very unappreciated, and I think a lot of them do.
Well, this is the elected officials here, so I can't really comment on how we feel. But anyway, we'll go ahead and move forward on that. I'll entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Do I have a second?
I did. We've already done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just waiting for it all.
I'm sorry, that's right, discussion, I apologize. All right, go ahead and vote. All in favor, please vote aye.
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 Nay.
All right, motion carries. All right, approving wage adjustments for the Veterans Affairs and Buildings and Grounds effective 1 July 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Approving signing yearly maintenance renewal for Black Ice TIF viewer. What this is so you can view TIF files. So a lot of our software that renews, this is different. This is part of the third-party software that Solution manages for us. We need to renew that. Unfortunately, they are not renewable at the same time. I really wish they were. So we're going to probably see more of these coming down the line as the licenses expire. We're going to have to approve the renewals on these. So this is kind of the first one.
So is this through Solutions?
No. Well, Solutions manages it on
Right.
our behalf,
Yeah.
but this is a third-party provider, kind
So
of like Microsoft.
Is the cost built into Solution then?
No, this is something separate. This is actually sent to the third party. So that is in the budget. So if you want, Diane, we can sit down and explain, because I'm learning it too, that there's separate different contracts, and you have the contracts with Solutions, and then you have the contracts with the third-party vendors that Solutions maintains for us. So they don't provide Adobe, they don't provide Black Ice, they don't provide Microsoft, but they just make sure that we stay on top of renewal of licenses for these applications. Okay, so we'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the yearly maintenance license renewal for Black Ice TIF viewer.
Have we always had Black Ice?
Yes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're getting down into secondary roads now. We'll go ahead and work on the resolution to award the bid for the bridge replacement project to Jasper Construction Services in the amount of $597,600.62.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. If the board is willing, I would like to entertain the option of doing bullet point R, S, T, U, and V together as one motion, since they all involve road closures. Would you
Yes,
guys-
please.
So
Okay.
moved.
All right.
Approve them all. Yes.
Approve all the road closures at once. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And some of them are done, correct?
Yes, all but one.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that takes us through R through V bullet points. Now we're on to the bullet points X for approving wage changes for the treasurer's office effective July 1, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Can I say something?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was you. I apologize.
I was like, what?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I know that budgets have been set, I get that. But I'm finding this very hard. In my heart, I'm finding this very, very hard. I realize that I graciously was given a raise a few months back when I took on the duties of treasurer, and yes, I'm still first deputy and treasurer, so I have two duties, and I thank you very much for that raise. And if you do approve this raise for my other two union people, I thank you very much for that. But I still have one other person, and she's been here for 25 years. And just because she is a first deputy, I feel like I'm smacking her in the face. And our office has been through a lot. A lot. So, and I know that everybody, we all work hard around here, but for her not to get anything, it makes me feel really guilty. So, I don't know if there's something I can do.
Do you have the budget? Can you afford to do it?
Yeah.
Can you afford it in your budget?
Yeah, I promise.
What's her percentage? What's she at right now?
Yeah, that's the other part, though. And that's
She's
where-
maxed out.
And that's where,
Yeah, the only way we could give her a raise is if we put a raise on the treasurer's salary. Yeah, I know. Okay. Let's revisit this next year, okay? Remind us next year. Let's
Could
work
we
through HR.
potentially make an adjustment mid-year after we get these other treasury things adjusted?
Only if the only way they can get a raise when they're, because under Iowa code, they're maxed at a certain percentage and they're tied to the treasurer's salary. So that would be Amanda's salary. She's not getting paid that, but it's still on the books as the salary. So we would have to raise that salary in order to give her a raise. So we're kind of at a rock and a hard place here. It's a very hard thing. I mean, if she wasn't at her max already, it'd be different, but she's at her maximum allowed under Iowa code.
Is there any way we could research through HR to see if there's some creative, because you're right, 25-year employee and you get nothing. And you need that experience in there, because she knows everything. Are there avenues, Kelly, that we could research to see what we could do without getting too unbalanced here?
I'll happily look into it.
Okay, so you'll look into it? All right.
I think that'd be great, thank you.
Okay. All right, thanks for
Thank you,
bringing
Carmen.
that up.
We'll look into it.
Okay. All right, we have a motion, a first and a second. We have a discussion. Any other discussion at all? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second, we already did it.
All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. I just wanted to.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, zoning office. Wage increases for zoning office. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we're now down to applications for licenses, permits, and cancellations. Okay, motion approving application for use of Madison County grounds covered bridge festival. Yay, can't wait for that. So that's on October 10th, 2025, October 11th, and October 12th. They're going to be using our grounds. So do I have a motion to approve for that? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay. All right, moving on to board member reports. I'm going to let you guys talk now. Go ahead, Jess.
Go ahead, Diane.
I attended historic preservation and HERDA. Chip and I have been working with the door company, and the second company that we got the estimates for, we're just kind of done. They just give us one side, so then they said to double it, and we're just done with them.
So that lower one was kind of bogus?
Yes,
Okay.
because it was for one side.
Okay.
So then we asked, should we just double it for the other side? And then we're just done with messing with them. We have worked a lot on opioid task force, and as Steve mentioned, I think our board is thinking they might, some of them dissolve until elections. They just felt like they worked really hard, but anyway, that's, and I did get old business. I'll wait till old business for the trees and I'll explain those. So that's what I've done.
Okay. Jess?
Had a good meeting, little training session with Brady, the sheriff, and Steve to make sure they had the access they needed to the camera systems that serve the annex and EMS building. As I mentioned earlier, we had some movement on the safety committee, and it's just done a good job digging out some information and working with others to try to get that outlined. We did have there was a Iowans for Tax Relief event that I did attend on Wednesday. And that was some good information and some good networking with some other supervisors from across the state. We had an invoice from Johnson Controls that should not have been charged, and that is in the works to get credited, I believe. So I've been communicating with Lawra and Chip on that.
That was just a mistake, right? Okay.
Yeah, they were not supposed to charge for that visit. Visit they did, and so we initiated a credit on that. And then I've got maybe some old business and new business. We'll get to that too.
Hey, Jess, on the safety committee, I don't know if John's still here.
Yeah.
When I worked for government, we were required, and you can do it free online. It's through GeoGov. It's classes you can take on safety. It's free. We used to have it here. Would that help with insurance if they took maybe one a quarter or something?
That's what we've been discussing, is having ongoing safety training for all employees.
Yes, and it's you can do it online. They're really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You're on it.
Yeah, it's all in the works.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I attended a Madison County Development meeting, attended a workforce development meeting. There's going to be some changes there because of some funding stoppage from the feds. So there's going to be some things changing there. So it's kind of up in the air right now. So that's kind of disappointing. So we're trying to stay abreast of that. A couple CICS meetings, as you know, that's going away. They are no longer going to be our provider, effective the 30th. I know they've already started cleaning out the office there across from us. I did have join a call with the new provider, which is at the state level. The call seemed to be catering to sub-recipients, not really the counties. So I'll be...
Who are the recipients if they're not
The sub-recipients for the counties, they're basically the vendors.
Okay.
So it was more of a vendor call rather than a county call. So I'll be circling back with them to find out a little bit more as how they're gonna step in for our county. So more to come on that. To be honest, it doesn't seem that they have everything fully baked yet.
No, they don't.
So
It's just the cart before the horse.
that's just what I gather, so hopefully I'll get more information on that. I met with John regarding our insurance. I had a few calls with Solutions. They are, I think they've been down here once already. I think they're coming down again. And we've gotten out the call list on who to call, when to call. Now it has 24/7 support. There's 2 different numbers to call, whether you've been on business hours, not business hours. I know EMS, you had another outage with MediaCom, correct? You're documenting that because I do want you to get that cheaper internet provider.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to be working on figuring out how to get out of that contract with MediaCom.
Aren't you close to Omnitel because they're going to go next door to you?
Yeah, they're thinking between August and October,
Oh,
when
good.
they'll be there.
So you think you can get out of that contract if you document all your
Well,
outages?
we have to show cause. So if we were to break the contract, it'd probably cost the county about $50,000.
And we're not going to. I think you can show cause.
So,
Because you're out so long.
which is why we need to document the tickets, because then we can go back to them and say, hey, and we'll work with Steve on this. So figure out a way, hey, you guys you're taking us down too many times. I know public health was down this week as well once for a few hours. So we're documenting that because I know not all our contracts a lot of our media contracts are expired already. Yours is not.
Brady, I'm sorry.
So if you have a list already,
Yeah, I've got a list started in April.
okay. So would you mind sending that to me? Because I'm gonna reach out to MediaCom and then also send me the price quote for Omnitel.
Yep.
Will they come to you and then if we can't break the contract with MediaCom, we're stuck, but will Omnitel be there as soon as we're out, they're there?
Yeah.
They will, oh, okay.
And they said they had something that they might even, if we said we'd be with them so long, they would take over the contract from MediaCom.
Oh,
Really? So they'll take it over?
So there's something.
they'll probably maybe pay the term fee. Is that what they, okay, wow. All right,
Go,
well, can
Brady.
you send that to me?
Well, he hasn't sent me papers on that. That was a sale.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Yeah, they haven't sent papers.
It's a
on
sale.
that.
I want to see your money.
we're gonna get it in writing. suggested it, so, yeah, good.
Verbals are a contract, right, Steve?
Maybe. It kind of depends on just consideration.
Okay. If you give me that, I'm gonna start working on that, because we will, if Almatel's there, well, we need to get you some better service, okay? So, all right. And if you called them regarding phones already?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's, my reports. So we'll go on, if there's nothing else, we'll go on to old business, trees. Diane?
Well, I want to explain to everyone, we don't just willy-nilly whack down trees. We do not do that, and I know people get really upset when we remove trees. We moved a tree on the courthouse on the north side because it was dead and brittle and branches were coming off. We removed it. We've already got a replacement for it. Then we're going to put another tree on the courthouse where something happened to it, so we'll replace that. The 2 trees at the annex are ordered and coming. We cut down 2 trees in the Cannonball Park, and that's just caused people to be furious. We had to cut them down because you could stick your hand in them. They were cracked so badly. They had to come down, so we cut those down, and we will replace them. Those are ordered. We ordered white and red oak, native trees to Iowa, not things that are not native, and so we will replace those. So that's where you are on the trees. You can tell everybody we're not just whacking out trees. We're going to replace them. We do it because the insurance company said so on some of them, and I think we have another one that is in bad shape. Is that correct? No, John?
I don't know about
I
that.
think we might have another one that might have to come out. We had the tree guy come, and we'll see. So there you go on trees. We are replacing them.
Okay. All right, thank you, Diane.
Sure.
Okay, the next one is ICAP insurance and options. The only reason I had this on there is I wanted to be able to talk to you guys about this, and you guys have me like paper. So what John provided is if we wanted to increase our coverage, what the premium would be. The column on the left shows where we're at right now. And as you move towards the right, that would be if we were to increase our premium and how much extra it would cost every year. So it's obviously it's not in our budget right now, but I want you guys to look at it in case you want to think about that or do something about that. We can talk about that later. And then the second page is the alternate limit for cybersecurity. I know we talked about this at our last meeting briefly. I want you to see the actual quote, so you have that. So
I would suggest that we probably talk about this when we do budgets this coming around. 'Cause
Okay.
I think we probably need to look into this, especially cybersecurity. I think it's happening everywhere.
well, I think I mentioned this last time. The problem with increasing cybersecurity coverage is a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
It makes you more attractive
I know, if you have a lot.
if you have a lot. So on the flip side, if you don't have a lot and you are attacked, it costs you a lot to fix it. So it's kind of a rock and a hard place. So that's something we'll have to work through. But you guys have the numbers now. Thank you, John, for that information.
Thank you, John.
So that's what that was about. Any questions on that? Okay. The second one is kind of we discussed the auditor applicants. We're at a point now where we've received all our applications. Everybody had to have everything in by the 26th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, we have 7 applicants for interviewing? Correct, that we
Yes.
scheduled? Okay, so we have 7, and the auditor gave input on her, what she recommended for questions to ask. I gave input. I know you had some comments on that. I hadn't heard from you yet on what you wanted to add.
Yeah, I just saw it, they were just sent recently to me, so I definitely have some feedback on those.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure if you wanted to, because we need to get that to the candidates, ideally this weekend, so they have a chance to look it over and consider it. Because again, we normally don't do this,
Candidates,
because-
do candidates get the questions before?
Well-
I've never heard of that.
well,
Because it's open, it's all gonna be open, and so like, it wouldn't be fair if somebody went
So you're gonna
first,
do it open? Okay.
and then somebody went
Good.
7th, and then the 7th person knows,
Sure,
I've seen the question 6 times, so
sure, thank you.
it makes sense.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's why, again, this is brand new we're not used to this, so I think we're trailblazers on this, because this is odd. But, so if we could, figure out what we want our final questions to be, so Kelly can send it to the candidates, by this weekend, so they have time to review them.
When I requested Kelly take each candidate with the resume, the application, and the questions and the time on top, each of them, and send them to us in a packet, so we have each one.
Oh, that's.
Oh, separately, all the.
So we can, print them and prints together, so we have them as a
Like
packet.
this, like I do. So each one would be readily handled, the time is up in the corner, so it's all right there, so you have them all studied beforehand. And then they would have the questions, so it'll go smoother.
So if you want, time to, percolate that for a little bit.
Yeah, the first I saw, I've been inquiring, looking for questions, and the first I saw was this morning, so.
Yeah.
But I'll get on it right away and send it, but I'm sure Kelly's gonna need time, and you all, with what you send out.
Yeah, so if you could, when you send them out, will you copy us? Please, so we know what was the final list and then what was sent.
Well, and she'll have the packets for us, so
Yeah.
we'll have everything right there, each question. So leave space, will you, Kelly, so we can write their answers on each, because I'm a paper person and I'll write the answer. That's the things.
So, yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. I wanted to give the board an update on that. So I think we're up to 10 or 11 questions right now, and so you're kind of the last person we're waiting on. So hopefully that, because keep in mind, I think we have just an hour, correct? Just an hour.
That's probably long enough.
So, okay. And then what we'll do is, once we have that, we'll post, I'm not kind of sure how do we just put it in the agenda with the names and the times? That's just what we do?
Yeah, we could just put them each time, just the name is all.
For
Yeah. And the
each
time.
day? Okay.
On the agenda, and that's all.
Okay. So, yeah, so that, in the order of the times and stuff like that.
While you guys are all here, or is it like officially kind of cut off, nothing else to be scheduled for interviews?
I think we have everybody covered.
I think with the last interviews we got, the last resumes we got was, yesterday was the cutoff.
Well, the last day was the 26th.
People that have sent them and are not scheduled.
Oh, okay. So the ones that either don't, because we did have some that were not residents, so they were not eligible.
Or didn't fill in all the materials.
Yeah, I would.
Well, if they didn't fill out all the materials,
I just need to know if it's completely set so I can publish it.
for Monday, I think it is.
For Monday?
Monday's done.
Monday is. I don't think we have, we just have the ones that were, we didn't have everything, the only ones were the ones that did not live here.
We had 3 people withdraw
And we
their
had 3 people
application.
withdraw.
And yeah, those were the 2 criteria that pulled them out of the list.
Okay, so
now that Steve's here, after each interview, do we deliberate after each one in public?
I don't.
Was it after the last one?
well, we have
After the last, yeah.
Should be after
the
the
last,
last
we
one.
can't use
I mean, 'cause
anything.
you
we
usually
don't-
use candidate A, candidate B, you know what I mean? But like, since they're open, I don't even know if you need to do that, but I guess you still could.
So after each interview, we're deliberating in public? Is that that's my question?
I think that's the end, don't you?
It's
Is
at
that
the
how you
end.
usually do it?
We did,
So after they're all done, then you
Yes.
do it?
now we can either do it that same day, which is the 3rd, and then appoint on the 7th, or we could deliberate on the 7th and appoint on that day. Because we have to wait to appoint.
I would
So-
deliberate after each, if you do 3, pick maybe the yay or nay, and then the next day, and then deliberate at the end to choose.
I think we should deliberate
All at the end.
all at the end.
Because you're not gonna know. I mean,
That's okay with me, because I'll, that would be better, really.
I mean,
do
you're
it
not
all at
gonna
the
know
end.
who else is gonna,
Yeah.
show up. You know what I mean? Like someone might.
Someone may not show up.
Someone might not show up. Someone
Yes.
might knock it out of the park that you didn't. You know, like you might get someone that you thought would be great that does terrible. You don't know. Like so, like it's hard to until they all come in. It's hard to really deliver.
All right, so we'll wait till the end.
So do you guys want to do it like after all the last interviews on the 3rd, or do we want to?
No, I want to
wait
do
till
it
the 7th?
then. Let's do it the 7th.
When it's fresh.
The only problem with having it the 7th, if you're going to appoint someone the 7th, you want them here because you're going to have everyone be
that's
here
true.
when you make a decision. If you know, like you'd have to have everyone here if you wanted to have them, or they might want to show up either way, but they're going to potentially all be here. When you do
So make a decision after the last interview and then appoint the 7th where we're all here.
So what we'd have to do is we'd have to do the interviews as work sessions,
Yeah.
and then end the work session, and then begin a special, and in order to deliberate and take action, correct?
Right. And then if you want that, it depends. My understanding is you want to swear someone in the 7th. If you're going to do that, you'd have to have everyone here if you haven't deliberated yet, is what I'm trying to say. Because no one will know who it is until you deliberate.
Correct.
So you'd have to have, if there's 7 people, you'd have to have all 7 people sitting out here while you deliberate, and then you'd say, okay, number 3, you're the one that's getting sworn in, here you go. If you did it on Friday or Thursday, you deliberate, tell the person that got the job, and then just them show up on Monday to do the swearing and stuff.
This
So
is all kinds of.
it's just calling everyone back or not calling everyone back is what I'm trying to say.
And again, the only reason we're doing this, which is different than any other way we've done it, is because the Iowa Supreme Court decision that changed everything.
Correct.
Correct. So that's why.
A couple recent, one Court of Appeals and one Supreme Court.
Yeah, so this is why we have to do it this way. It's unlike any other way we've done it before as a county or in the private sector.
And to be honest, I think partially, I don't know if you've ever seen like when judges get appointed or when they go through the process, all their applications are public, their interviews are public, everything's broadcast on TV, like everything's public for them. So I think when they're deciding, they're thinking, hey, we go through all this stuff in public, so why shouldn't everyone else?
Okay. Well, that's fine. We're just this is the first time we've done it this way, so.
Yeah, that just came out in March, I think, so.
I'm sorry?
I think that ruling just came out in March,
Yeah.
so it's pretty recent.
It's very recent. It's very awkward. Okay, so that's what we'll probably do then on Thursday the 3rd, after our last interview, end the work session, and then go into a special where we can deliberate and take action with the resolution. So
we need to know, if we're gonna deliberate on the 3rd, then we need to figure out on the scheduling.
correct.
Make sure we have the time allocated.
So I think the first applicant on the 3rd is at 10, and the second one is at 11. So maybe we can deliberate at noon or 1, break for lunch, come back at 1.
Well, we've got them at 2 on Monday and then 3. And then you've got 7, that one went through. Then you've got 7 through, you've got one at 10 and 11.
Right.
But you've got one more added. Okay, well, you'll send those to us. So when do you want, what date?
So, the last day is 3rd.
Yeah.
So, and our last interview is the 11th at 11 o'clock. So that ends at noon. It's up to you guys. If you want to keep barreling in, or do you want to take a break for lunch and then come back at 1? Is that what you want to do?
I think, we'll need, huh?
I don't care, I can skip lunch.
Well, I can skip lunch, I don't care about that, but I think we need a little pause to reflect and individually and consider everything and so we're prepared to come in and deliberate.
Okay.
So.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Breaking for lunch and then doing it
I'm
at
okay
1?
with it.
Okay.
So we're on.
So the 3rd is the last day for interviews. The last interview will probably end at noon. We'll break for lunch. We'll come back at 1 to deliberate, make a decision, and keep in mind this is just a preliminary decision. We can't take action until, we can, how do you word that resolution?
And what if they say no after we pick them?
You have to go down the list, I guess.
I don't know the answers to that yet.
So we'll need your help writing that resolution, because obviously we can't appoint them till the 7th, because we have to confirm that,
Right, I mean.
we have to wait till the office is actually vacant.
Extending the offer,
Okay, just extending the offer.
contingent offer on, well, I mean, she leaves the 4th, but like, contingent on her resignation on the 4th, we
Okay.
can have this job starting the 7th.
Okay.
So, you know, like that type of thing.
Okay. Would you mind working with Michaela on the verbiage on that?
I can.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
There's one in existence.
So we need, Michaela, I'd like somebody send an invite then for, what, 1 to 3 for the deliberations, just so we're sure we have time on the 3rd? 1 to
2 hours?
Yeah.
I
The
agree with
meeting
that.
doesn't end if you go past.
Yeah, we don't have to do a timetable. We just start at 1, and then when we're done, we're done.
You can just go
Well, I
1
just
to
want to make
4.
sure we all have time allocated and.
In our calendar.
Yeah, in our calendars.
So Thursday the 3rd, we're 8:30 till 3, really.
Yeah.
If we schedule it all. Sure.
That'll work.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay, all right. All right, well, so the next one is 2025 priorities, ordinance review and update. Ryan, any updates?
Yeah, so I reached out to the consultants on the 19th of June, and we were supposed, the last time we met with them, they were slated to have a meeting in June. His response to me was, it'll be mid-July before I get what I want done to present. On the writing side, I'm about a third to a half complete. He said the next meeting would be in early August.
Okay.
That's,
So he took what you guys recommended at the last meeting you had, and he's writing it? What is he?
he's writing the draft, but we we discussed some topics that we would like addressed in the new ordinance, but
Okay.
I'm sure he's gonna be adding to that,
Okay,
and which we will review again, or they will review again.
is he using our current ordinance as like a springboard, or not? Is he doing it from scratch?
I would say he's looking at it, but I don't think it'll be in the same format.
Okay.
Do you, every time he makes a change, do you see it?
No,
You don't see it in progress?
no.
Oh.
I haven't seen any draft at all yet.
How come he doesn't, I would ask to see it in progress.
Well, when we did the comprehensive plan, he would work on it, and then he'd send us a draft, and then we meet and discuss the draft, and then that's kind of, we didn't really do as he did the chapters. Just
Really?
kind of,
I would like to see progress on it. Just, that's up to
so
you, Ryan, that's your
So
lead.
the next one's gonna be July? Are you guys
He
gonna?
said August.
August.
Yeah.
So, so he said he's not gonna have something till July though? What was mid-July?
He said it will be mid-July before I get what I want done to present.
Okay. And then the meeting to present it is in August?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you ask him that when he's done in mid-July, just send it out, so you guys have time to
Sure,
read it?
before the meeting.
Because it's gonna be extensive, and your board, your commission's gonna need to have time to read that. Okay.
I have a question for Ryan. When a house in the country is condemned, does it just sit there till it falls down, or does the landowner have to remove it? What does that mean?
Never condemned a home before.
Then what's all the orange things? I've never walked up and looked into them. It's not. What is all that on the doors then?
Where?
All by me.
Somebody has condemned a home?
No, he says no. I still have that question. If you would condemn a house out in the country, who is responsible for removing it? Because in a city, I know it can become the city's responsibility, but does it in the?
I think within how we condemned it, maybe you would be able to help here, but I think you could get an abatement to remove the home and maybe utilize that abatement to charge the cost of that to the property owner. But I don't know the for sure answer to that.
I'm just curious, because there's so many falling down buildings.
All right, anything else to discuss before we adjourn?
I don't know if I should put this under old business, new business, it's not on there, but I know we had some communications regarding discussing facilities. And Diane mentioned doing reviews. I don't care how we want to do it. I know we started kind of talking about some things.
Well,
regarding
this is
that.
not on the agenda, so we really shouldn't be discussing it.
Sorry.
So, but we can get it on an agenda and a future agenda to talk about. If you want, we can have a special meeting to talk about that, or maybe a work session to talk about that. So we get some
I think we
clarity.
just, let's add it to the next one and we just define what we need to do there.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
Just maybe reference it as performance reviews, I guess.
Well, okay.
Let's don't talk about, just
Yeah.
put it on the next
We
one.
can, we'll talk about it on the next one.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's 2:30.